This is the Sharing Wheel. Today we have Kristin Spalding and Gary Martin. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
And I met Kristin and Gary at Kid Dreams Coffee Shop. And sort of a funny story, I'm a notebook writer. I'll get my coffee and do my thing in the coffee shop and just write every morning. And I hear you guys come in, very energetic and upbeat and engaging the people that work at Kid Dreams. And so I'm sort of, you're very conscious of people who come in because it's a small coffee shop. You know?
Right.
So it's interesting, right? Because someone can go on a negative rant, and you can kind of get, you know, like, hey, you know, like, cool it over there, you know, because it's that small, you know. But you guys are the opposite. You guys go the other way, where you bring in good energy. And so while, you know, at the window writing in my notebook, I'm hearing you guys planning a trip talking about your trip to India for a wedding. Mm-hmm. And, you know, day after day, I'm kind of hearing you checking in with the staff and talking about it. And then, you know, slowly, as the pages turn and the days turn, you're getting closer to the departure date. Mm-hmm. And then you're gone for 2.5 weeks, and you're in India. And I'm doing my thing, you know, and you come back.
Yep.
It's amazing how that works.
And Kid Dream was our first stop back.
It literally
we landed
was.
at like 8. We got home at like 9.
Right.
And we went right to Kid Dream.
That's so funny because Kid Dreams is often in our discussion when we're traveling, because we're always comparing their coffee to what the coffee is there. And I'm like,
same here.
It's like the gold standard, and then it's like, well, they were all right, you know, they were in the neighborhood, but not quite there yet,
right.
You know. But so you guys came back from the wedding, and I heard you talking about the wedding, and also jet lag, and sort of getting back in the groove. And I know you guys travel often, and I've heard before other times while I'm having my coffee about different trips that you guys have taken.
Yep.
So I guess vicariously, I have traveled with you many times, but I thought I wanted to hear more about the trip to India, the wedding that you went to. Or, actually, maybe there was 2 different versions of the wedding, but
sort of.
that you'll explain. But so this we'll start from the beginning. You flew German Airlines out to.
Yep. We took Lufthansa to Bangalore, stopped in both Frankfurt and Munich, and then went to Bangalore from there. And then from Bangalore, we flew up to Chandigarh, which is where the first part of the wedding was.
So is that like 30 to 40 hours around there?
No, it wasn't that long.
No.
It was about 17 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roughly on the way out.
We were awake for like 30 hours.
Between all the stops and the layovers.
And the waiting. So yeah.
And the people who were getting married.
Yep.
How do you guys know each other?
So I worked with both of them on a project at my company for a client, and I got to know the wife. She was living in Chicago at the time, and then moved to Boston, came over to the house, and now we have them up for holidays, and like they come for Thanksgiving if we're home, and Christmas if we're home.
Yep.
So they're kind of like, I feel like they adopted us a little bit, and we adopted them, and so they just, and when she was starting to date her husband, I already knew him because he was a part of the project, but they weren't together. He started coming up as well. So that's how we got to know them, and met her parents and her aunt, and we just kind of melded into the family, I think, a little bit. Fantastic.
And so you arrived there, and what's the, because I know Indian weddings can last like from 3 to 7 days.
Yeah, they can.
And so I kind of looked into it. I mean, compared to like a Western wedding, it's actually quite different.
Oh yeah, and way more people, typically.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think of the typical Western or at least U.S. wedding is, I think a big wedding is 300 people.
In Western?
In Western.
That would be
Oh,
a
yeah,
huge
huge.
wedding.
Yeah.
200's big, yeah. 100.
They had a small wedding, and it was like 300 to 500 people,
Yep.
Wow.
like over the course of time. But yeah,
And what
So
we
you-
consider a reception, we had at least 3.
So the first event that you went to, what was that?
so the first event was a haldi, and it's where the couple comes up. I don't know all of the details, so I could get this wrong. But the couple sits up on there's dancing. You bring everybody in dancing with drums and all of that, which is really cool. And everybody's celebrating. And then the bride and the groom sit in kind of a pool thing. And then the friends and family, well, family first, and then the friends put this turmeric paste all over them because it's supposed to be auspicious and purity and bringing the couple starting their new life together.
Okay.
So the parents are usually pretty gentle about it. They just put it nicely on your head and your hair and your shoulders.
Yeah.
Friends, not so much. At one point, the groom's friends put it all over him and ended up ripping his shirt off to make sure he was covered in the turmeric.
So not only are the bride and groom doing it, but the wedding party is putting it on as well?
Yeah,
or-
well, the family
The
and
the
friends.
family.
So it's not just
Okay.
the wedding party because they
Okay.
don't really have that concept necessarily.
Okay.
But
No.
it's it's friends and family who are doing that because
Okay.
it's meant to
That's-
move them into their new life together.
Okay, so that's a lot of turmeric, right?
It is,
that-
yes. It's quite a bit of turmeric.
So it
yes.
was like a big bowl of it, or
No,
how did it?
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
They had a couple bowls, I think, and it's like a paste. And
Okay.
they used, if you use fake stuff, it stains, but they used real turmeric, so it
Okay.
didn't stain as much.
Okay. Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, it was all over.
Yeah. And then, so you said you're in a pool, like a swimming pool, or
It
like a
was
kid
like
pool, or
I don't know, how would you describe it? Like a
Yeah, it was,
recess in the,
yeah, it was a
like
recess.
a pond,
yeah,
you
it
know,
was
like
a,
those.
like a little
Okay.
pond on the inside of the
Okay.
reception area.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was that little, I would call it a stage type thing where they
Okay.
would set up their seating.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you could walk into that and it was,
Okay.
it was set up appropriately.
Yeah, sure.
And then
Like
you would,
like flowers and
Yep.
Oh yeah, flowers, and then the theme is like you wear yellows and oranges, like very bright colors.
Okay. All right.
And you also wear that to make sure that it doesn't stain you.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's meant to be bright and happy, and so the flowers were bright. The clothing was a lot of yellows and oranges, which was very
luckily I like pastels, so wearing bright colors wasn't a problem.
Nice, nice.
cool. Yep, we had to buy you a shirt because
Yeah.
you lost your shirt for that. So
And was there music too at the while this is all going on?
Yeah.
The drummers.
the
Oh,
drummers
you're
were
saying,
there,
right, drummers, cool,
and then I
yeah.
think they had other music as well, but
Yeah.
I think they had overhead music too.
So that they do that now. I know there's a tattooing, like
The Mendi.
the Mendi.
Yeah, so the Mendi, it's not tattooing, it's
But,
where you do the henna on the
the
hand.
henna,
And it's
okay.
typically
So-
women who do that, so the bride will do it, and then the women guests can do it.
Okay.
We had a lot of the Western guys who were there, they also did it, he did
Yeah,
not.
No.
But
Next time.
I
The
have
way it was described was women do it, men might do it, Gary will not do it. And that was from the groom, so.
Yeah, so Anna did both sides of the hands, and then, it's done, and then they do, I think it was a reception, where what we would consider a reception after the wedding, where you do speeches and talk about the bride and the groom and like your relationship to them, that was done before the actual ceremony, which was the next morning. So
Okay.
that was, and then dancing and drinking and
And at
eating. Lots of
one
eating.
reception, we had a full band.
That was
Probably
the-
one of the best live bands I've heard.
yeah,
Really?
that's like after the wedding
Right.
reception.
And
This was the smaller one just for like close relatives and family. So
Right,
what, like 100
right.
people?
Okay.
about that. And each
Yeah.
reception had an open bar
Mm-hmm.
and food.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So
Oh my
I don't know
goodness.
what that would cost if you brought that into the Boston area to have
Whoa,
3
I
full
can't imagine.
receptions with all of that.
Yeah.
If we didn't have a band, we had a DJ. You always had open bar.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the food was fantastic.
Yeah. Very good.
Sounds awesome.
Love Indian food.
Ah.
Sorry.
So
Or, as they call it, food.
you're in the northern part of India for the first.
Right. So
so-
for the haldi, the actual ceremony and 2 receptions were up in Chandigarh. And then we fly down to Bangalore because the groom is from Bangalore. So the bride is from Delhi and the groom is from Bangalore. And so they wanted to have their family and friends, like the groom's mother and father, their family and friends and colleagues and everybody be able to attend. And not everybody could go up to Chandigarh.
Okay.
So that's why it was split between the two. But the actual ceremony was up in Chandigarh.
Okay, and that's near the Himalayan mountains?
It's in
Nepal?
Punjab, which is about an hour north
About a 15-minute flight.
east
Okay.
From
of Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then what other events, was that all the events that, well, there was actually the ceremony,
The
right?
ceremony was in Chandigarh the next morning. So we got
Okay.
up early and went to have hair, makeup, and draping of the saris done.
So you had outfits?
Yes,
Yep.
we had
Right.
outfits.
Right. Provide a
and-
picture of that.
Yeah. Yes.
It will. It looks great.
Our
Yeah.
outfits,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And the bride's parents helped you with these outfits, or
They were a very generous gift from the bride's family. Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get one, but figuring out which one to buy. And at first they wanted us to wear turbans, the men that were in the party, but then there were so many intricacies between all the different variances of turbans that they finally said nobody's wearing a turban.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and it's the same with the kurta. It was
Right,
hard. The
right.
sari, I think, is easier, but then Kristin needed someone to help her drape it.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
They told me it's easy and I could learn it on YouTube, but I have not.
Yeah.
Maybe if I wear it again, I will figure it out myself. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
much easier to have. They have this happened at both places in Chandigarh and in Delhi. They have someone who drapes it, pins it in the right way so it doesn't fall.
Yeah.
and
It's
yeah.
pretty involved. And you had like it's not the right term, but like pajama pants.
it looks like they
yeah.
feel like pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
And there was a tan, so a neutral color.
Okay.
And then like a long, thin jacket that was reddish. And then a vest that was like a cream color. Those, I guess, are fairly normal
Okay.
clothes for a man at a wedding.
Yeah. Okay.
Extremely comfortable outfit.
Yeah.
Although
Nice.
it was pretty funny, right? Because all the Western men who were at this wedding wore the
Kurta.
traditional Indian kurta, and most of the Indian men who were at this wedding did not. They
Yeah.
just
Wearing
wore
shirts and ties.
suits and ties and stuff. It was pretty
That's
funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
But they did like the fact that most of the Westerners took part in it.
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
And embraced it.
Yeah. A wedding that I would have loved to attend.
I think it was because we were close with the bride. We helped with the procession. Gary was in the men's procession. I was in the women's procession.
Yeah.
And then I was able to sit during the ceremony. I've been invited to Indian weddings before and haven't been able to make it. I haven't been invited to a wedding where I'm as close to the bride and groom as I was with this. So I felt
Right.
like it was a very different experience than if I had gone to any of the other weddings, because I was able to sit with the family, and we ended up in a bunch of the family photos, and they insisted. So it just made it a much better experience, I think.
Yeah. Amazing. And the procession. So the groom has a procession that goes into the. Was it outside?
It was
or-
outside.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
And Kristin alluded to it earlier. It's not the best man, that party and then the women. So I was sitting there while Kristin was up with the bride, and they're like, "Hey, you're coming with us," and I went with the groom in his procession.
Okay,
It was much more fluid.
Yeah. And speaking of just a segue of fluid, the traffic there is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tried taking pictures, but I could never capture it.
Right. Yeah.
It is something I think you would have to grow up driving in to feel very comfortable with. We were sitting at an intersection. I was looking at traffic coming at us.
Yeah.
And what would be a 4-lane road here? There had to be at least 9 lanes of traffic with different motorbikes of any type.
Different modes of transport.
And cars.
Yeah.
And buses. All coming into one big intersection. How there aren't more accidents than there are, I will never know.
And somehow it works.
And it all works.
Yeah. So Boston's fairly tame.
Oh,
compared
yes.
to,
Yeah, there's no
okay.
comparison. Unless you experience it. Like you said, he's trying to take videos. I've had pictures of it. It just looks like a traffic jam, but you don't get the the auto rickshaws coming in, the motorbikes, the Vespas, all of that, just all kind of converging. And then you have, with the auto rickshaws, you have like packages of things.
People carrying things.
Like, well, even like delivery, like it looks like a tunnel. Like they're biking on this thing, and you don't know how they're keeping it upright because there's so many things on top of it.
You can be behind a truck that looks like the Grinch that stole Christmas when he loaded everything on his sleigh, and somehow it all stays on the truck and keeps going.
Right. It's awesome. So I was in Boston traffic yesterday, and so I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, considering.
But Boston traffic is more aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Kristin had a good point earlier about they use their horn a lot, but it's more like, hey, I'm here. We're here. It's like, hey, I'm here and I'm coming at you.
Sure, yeah, right, yeah. It's a bit of like a sport in Boston, right? Yeah, like hockey or something, So the ceremony, and I think there's a tradition where they steal the shoes of the groom.
Yep.
And then they're bartered back in.
The families are arguing with each other. Arguing. Kristin was with the bride at this point, and the thing is that from what I could understand, because they're speaking in Canada.
Canada. No, Hindi.
Which I have no basis in. Mm-hmm. So, but you could tell it was good-natured, lowballing, and then high. Right. Asking for way too much, and then it all works out in the end.
That's great. And so is it a mandap, or is that the word for it? Is there like a tent outside and or that they're underneath, or?
Are you talking about where the ceremony is taking place with the Hindu
the puja?
Puja?
Yeah.
It's underneath a structure. I guess it was a tent. I don't actually remember.
I think it was.
Yeah. Okay. And they have like all of the traditional ceremonies, and they have a fire, and they feed things to the fire, and they do repeating with the groom. And when there's a whole lot of things up front that, again, all in Hindi, so I have no idea. The bride's parents are there, the groom's parents come, and at one point they walk around 7 times, and after the 7th time, the bride and the groom switch places, and they walk around one more time, and that's when they're married.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's
funny story.
Which I missed.
Funny story.
So I was sitting off to the side with a bunch of other people. And someone came over and told us that this was going to happen, but the way she made it sound is they were going to walk around the whole area.
Okay,
so we were all sitting there, and then all of a sudden I look up and Kristin's standing there going, you missed it. Where were you?
And then we had no cell reception, so I was trying to text him and say, hey, this is the actual wedding.
Right.
And he never got it.
No,
so he
I
missed
can tell
the
you
actual wedding part.
My cell phone company managed to charge me for an international plan, but not provide the service for an international plan.
But that was it was funny because I'm like, where were you? Why did you? He's like, I don't know. And I know he felt bad. So it was just funny because like. I was trying to send someone over to get the guys, and they just didn't. When everybody's engaged in watching them get married, you're just like, okay, we gotta leave the family and everybody here. So.
And then there's another party after that.
Right. So that's that was the actual wedding, and again, close family, friends, about 150 people.
About that.
And then in the evening, it was like the big reception, but where the brides. And normally the groom, if they're from the same area, they all come in. So that's where you get most of the people. And that was massive. That's where we had the live band and a DJ and food and drinks. But all like the colleagues, they had one of the priests or
a religious leader of some import
came as well. The chief of police came. All sorts of it's really like they were about an hour from Delhi, so you had a lot of people come up from Delhi and it's really to support the bride's family and parents and show like everybody what's going on. So that was a lot. We were all exhausted.
I bet.
I think what time did we call it? Midnight?
About midnight or 1. Because they kept going for a little longer.
Wow. And so you fly out the next day?
Yep, we flew down to Bangalore, afternoon? Like at about 2
afternoon,
or 3.
Yeah.
And then we were in Bangalore for the week, and went around. We went to Mysore, saw Mysore Palace. We did a tour of the Bangalore market area, saw silk weavers, silk dyeing. What else did we see? The powders, bangles, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Kristin got an excellent picture of the silk dye. Was the
Silk
dyeing
dyeing.
or the?
It was the dyeing. Yeah, it was just I lined up the shot, and then I looked at it later. I'm like, wow, this is like one of the best pictures I've taken.
Nice.
So you can have it. But
And this is it's southern India, and it's not on the coast. It's more in the middle.
yeah, if you look at the tip of India, it's like right here.
Okay.
And then
yeah.
Chennai is on the coast over here, and Goa is on the coast. Basically, they're kind of like a little bit of a triangle.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a higher elevation, so it's actually cooler
Oh, okay.
than the rest of India. And it's the Garden City.
Garden City.
And they tend to have more rain, and so a lot of people like not more rain, but like it's cooler, and so in the summer people will go to Bangalore. But now it's the Silicon Valley of India, so you've got all of the tech hubs, all the tech companies. They have offices in Bangalore, and it is what did they say? 14 million.
14 to
people? 15
million people live there now.
And
Wow.
it used
And
to
it used
be
to be
kind
a
of
retirement area.
yeah, so
Wow.
like a couple million. So
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so the traffic is probably where everybody told us the traffic in Bangalore is awful. And I had been to Bangalore before for work.
Yeah.
So I knew the traffic was bad. But I think it really hit home when we were trying to get to our hotel. And we had to do this U-turn. And it took us 45 minutes to get from where we were literally across from the hotel and could see it to do the U-turn to get to the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't even that far.
Boston's a
What was it, like
cakewalk, yeah.
500 meters, maybe?
Oh yeah.
It was not far.
Right.
Yeah, it
right.
was ridiculous.
Like when there was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
traffic, you could do it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was so that was fun.
And so you described it as the Silicon Valley
India,
of India. Now, what would be the New York version of India?
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Washington D.C. would be
it's Delhi.
Yeah.
Delhi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Which is a much more conservative area than a lot of
Delhi.
India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've been
Completely
to Mumbai,
different
and
feel.
it feels like what you would think of New York in
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
India.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. And and then what took place? What events took place there?
So they had another Mendi where we did new henna,
Okay.
and then we had like a cocktail evening. So the groom's family and friends were able to come.
Yeah.
They had karaoke.
Yes.
Oh,
We had
fun.
dancing.
Did you guys any?
Yes, we did.
We
Good
did.
for you.
And for this one who never
for you.
dances or does karaoke, he
I did
was
both.
convinced to do
Well,
both of those
hats
things.
off. Wow. Yeah.
And then the next morning it was like a reception type of thing, but more like a meet and greet with the groom's family and friends and colleagues and all of that. And they served a traditional Southern Indian meal on a banana leaf for like lunch, all vegetarian. There was no open bar for that one.
No alcohol at
No
all.
alcohol
This was
on that
much
one.
more
And they had
Yeah.
traditional.
Gotcha.
they had
Yeah,
sitar
yeah.
players
Really?
and
Wow. Wow.
it was really nice.
What a great way to kind of wrap things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
kind
we with the rest of the U.S. contingency did a bar crawl that evening, which was
pub crawl in
really
Bangalore.
nice. It was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
actually relaxing and
Yeah.
because it's the Silicon Valley and there's a lot of universities in Bangalore as well.
Yeah.
They have a really big pub tradition.
Okay.
Too.
They're known
fun.
for their pubs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just circling back to karaoke, what
Sure.
song did you do, Gary?
I forget what songs we did. I did a couple of them.
Yeah.
I don't like dancing. I
Okay.
danced with the bride and with the groom because
Okay.
that is normal to do, and
Yeah.
they were quite happy with that, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, they were beyond thrilled with that actually.
And did you belt out a song, Kristen? Or,
Oh, I mean, it was a group effort.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
gotcha,
yes.
gotcha.
It was all the Westerners doing it.
It
Sort
was
of a sing-along
Yeah, it
kind
was
of
a
thing.
sing-along
Yeah,
kind of
gotcha,
thing.
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
yes, I did sing.
I probably could manage that, but terms of like grabbing the mic and singing.
I knew that the people that they invited we would like and pretty much get along with, but we really had a great time with these people. They were just wonderful.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And everyone was invested. We're here. We're going to make this the best we can for the bride and the groom.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, that speaks to the my observation at the coffee shop, bringing good energy, and I picked up on it, and also like the importance of people talking to each other at a coffee shop and just being open to conversation, and that becomes a gateway into like what we're talking about now,
Right.
You know, and I knew nothing about Indian weddings, you know, and then I started researching it last night. I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. You know?
And everyone kept telling us, oh, this is a small wedding.
Yeah.
And we're looking at it and we're like, okay, this is bigger than any wedding we've ever been to.
Yeah, yeah.
Then like some of them are 7 days. I can't see doing that for 7 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to like work out and get in shape for that.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
well, and when we were in Bangalore, the Bangalore Palace was right behind one of our hotels that we stayed at. And they have these wedding venues set up because it's wedding season from, was it November through March?
Yeah.
And there are fireworks that go off. There's these, it's just this massive event. And sometimes they have between up to 2,000 to 3,000 people attending those weddings.
Wow.
That is a big wedding,
like a
but it's,
concert,
you know, that's why I was saying like 300 to 500 was a small wedding.
Yeah.
And we only did technically 4 days, right?
Yep.
Of the wedding.
Wow.
Because they wanted to keep it small. They were, they live here. It's
So
different.
They're back now, and
They're back now. We're going to see them this weekend.
All right, well, tell them I said hello.
I'm sure.
It was fascinating, and that's great that you guys are getting together. And and I know you guys travel a lot. What's on the radar? Anything?
We were just talking about that, actually.
Kristin has a trip to Hawaii coming up.
Right. I'm going to Hawaii. I promised a girlfriend of mine that we'd go to Hawaii together.
Nice.
We go there a lot. I did that when I went to Hawaii when I was a kid growing up. My grandfather was stationed at Pearl Harbor during World War II and just stayed.
Kidding? Oh, wow.
And so my parents built a property on the Big Island, and we used to go as a child. I went as a kid every year and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like home 2.0.
Oh, wow.
But we've been going a lot, and I told my girlfriend I would go with her.
Sure.
She's got spring break coming up in April, and the rest of her family has spring break at different times. So we're going to use this just to go and relax. But then we were talking about for Thanksgiving, are we going to be here? Do we go to Paris?
Yeah.
Do we go to Greece? Was another option.
Yeah. So you guys always kind of have the suitcase.
Much to our pets' dismay, yes.
And you probably got like packing down to a science, right? I would imagine.
I used to travel for work. So before COVID, I was on the road 4 days a week. So it's actually easier for me to pack business work clothes than personal stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. So packing, like obviously like packing for the wedding was much different than business travel. But
it was. I mean, I actually took a lot of stuff out of the suitcase because I was trying to keep it to not crazy amounts of luggage because we were going to be moving around a lot.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And when we came back, every time we turned around, there was someone at our hotel door saying, here's a present. And we ended up with a ton of things to bring back.
Okay,
we did. We have this ginormous box of candy.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
it's candy. I actually
we haven't opened
it yet.
Oh, fun.
So we ended up having to leave a couple things behind we thought about beforehand because we had so many things that we brought back.
Yeah. Well, this has been fantastic. Somehow I felt like I took a trip to India.
You should actually take a trip to India.
Yeah.
I think it's much more accessible than it used to be. We started going to India in the early 2000s for work. And then I went pre-COVID, probably in 2016 and 17. And it was so different. And even this trip, it was like,
it's
changing all the time, much more.
Such a dynamic place.
You have so many Westerners coming, especially to Bangalore, that it feels way more approachable than it used to.
Yeah.
Still India and still amazing and still totally different, but
it's such a I don't know, to me it's a bit of a mystery and probably just to be able to kind of articulate just a small portion of what India is. It's I feel like there's I don't even know if there's a vocabulary, right, for everything that.
I think there were like 200 different dialects there.
Wow.
It's a huge country. And its culture is vast. And you have to go in and
Rich,
just kind of see it. It's like the traffic.
Yeah.
You just have to experience
You got
it
it.
all.
Right. Yeah. Well,
It's like anything else. Anywhere you go, you have to go with an open mind. Because if you go with a preconceived idea that this is what, you know, Islamic countries are like, you're going to go to Jordan and find out that's not the case.
Right.
If you think China is one thing, you're going to find out it's not.
You're right. Yeah. That's kind of think about like Rick Steves who that has a show, and he was saying like traveling is like a, I don't know if he said it was like an act of protest almost, like, but because I guess it's you're experiencing the culture for what it is,
Yes.
Exactly.
and the people for who they are, you know, and it's not sort of pre-canned something that you're hearing about it somewhere else, you know.
And you would be surprised, or maybe not, how similar we all are in the things that we all want. Yeah, regardless of how different the culture is.
Yeah,
Everybody has
right,
their family
right,
and their
yeah.
friends that they care about and they
Yeah.
want to see to be successful.
Right. Yeah.
And we're more similar than we are different.
Yeah, and I think on a local level, same deal, you
Yeah.
know, and people are people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great way to end this conversation. I really appreciate you guys coming in, and
Thanks for having us.
yeah,
thanks,
sure.
Sean.
This was fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
It's amazing what happens when you spend time to talk at a coffee shop.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd look forward to hearing about your trip to Hawaii and
Don't worry, he'll bring it up every time I'm there
Okay.
because he likes to make jokes to the staff about how it's freezing here and it's beautiful and warm in Hawaii for me.
I'll be with my head in my notebook, but I'll be listening.
I bet you will.
But no, Kristin, Gary, I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks a
for
lot,
coming on.
Sean.
Thanks so
Cheers,
much.
guys. Thank you.